Hey bushcraft fans, today we're going to navigate with only a compass. I got my little Silva Polaris. What we're going to do, I've counted out my paces. This is a little over 1 kilometer. Now my pace count is 68, but I'm going to add a few for walking around trees and poison ivy and such, which there's no short of out here. So what we're going to do is go north for 720 counts, and then we're going to cut east and end up at this little circular mound at the finish line. Going to go 200 counts on that leg. So I'm going to get my bearings that way. $11.53. Every couple hundred feet I'm going to stop and check north again. Constantly have to look for poison ivy around here. We're going north, so I found my tree. Stand next to it. Point north again, and that opening way out yonder is my next target. Alright, I got my opening right in front of me here. Still going north. There's grasshoppers everywhere. I'm at about 550 paces, so I'm going to make my right hand turn here in a little bit. I don't see exactly where my intersection is going to be, but that's how it goes. I know I'm on the right track because I figured I'd be crossing that path back there. Looks like I'm going to be out in the middle of nowhere when I make my turn. Cutting through that way. Hopefully I'm right. But I know either way, the area I picked, I got the Red River to my right. I got a big chunk of farmland to my left. Ooh, that's pretty. There's a lot of flowers going on. I don't see many bees though. But that's where I'm going. I'm gonna make a turn here about 80 paces. It's hard to keep track and count and talk at the same time. Alright, it's 720. Now I get a bearing going east, going that way. Right where that clump of trees is right there. That's where I'm headed. Found some goodies along the way. Nice piece of sorrel. 2 of them actually. Off of this plant right here. Past my stand of trees. I should be right on that mound. Pretty close anyway. The longer your first leg is, the more off you're going to be at the end. And looking in front of me, I know I'm way off. I just want to go there, look north and south and find out how far. So I got this cottonwood tree in front of me, and I know that if I hit that cottonwood tree, I've gone too far. So I'm going to try going north because I don't think I walked far enough. I found the mound. Google Earth can trick you sometimes, making you think that little tiny lake beds are actually mounds. If you look behind me, it's actually a depression in the earth. That didn't show up on topo maps. But it is round, so we keep going east. We hit the Red River. And in the last few years, hasn't really been much of a river. So I'm gonna go back to the mound and take my 20-minute break. It is 12:47, so I got about 10 minutes to get there. Take a 20-minute break. I might do a little exercise there. and then continue on back to my starting point. If you do your pace count on flat surface, it's going to be a lot different in sand, mud, forest, vines, thorns, mesquite trees, you name it, it's going to be different. Alright, if you remember last year I did a finding north with no compass exercise using a stick in the sun. What I want to do is show you that when I did the last exercise, it was in the afternoon. It was like 5:30 in the afternoon, so the shadows were a lot longer and they grew a lot quicker. I'm going to do the same exercise at midday, show you how fast or how slow the shadows grow and how far apart they move. Alright, now we want to mark the shadow. Little stick here. So now I'm going to wait 20 minutes, go sit in those trees back there in the shade, drink some water, get ready for the trip back. We'll come back in 20 minutes and check this out. And as of right now, it is 12:58. It's 1:20. Let's go take a look at our solar compass. It's about 22 minutes later. If you notice, our shadow has only moved about 1.25 inches. Now, with it being midday, that's kind of to be expected, but if we were in the afternoon waiting the same time period, our mark would probably be over here, or better yet, over here. The further distance there is, the more accurate your solar compass is going to be. If we stand on this side of the shadow with our sun on our backs, this will be west and that'll be east, that way it'll be north. You draw a perpendicular line, that should be north. And if we check it, there you go. So I'm wanting to go west, so that's that way. Alright. That dead tree up there is my marker. So here's my dead tree. I'm going to keep going west. Right over there, where my hiking stick's pointing. So now I'm at my intersection, ready to head south. And I know I'm at my planned intersection because I'm coming from a known point and going a less distance from a known point coming this way. If that doesn't make sense, listen to this. 720 paces from the Jeep to here is what it should be on paper. But it ended up being closer to 850, 900. Because remember, if I had to cut east, I didn't find my mound, so I had to cut north. I know this is the intersection where I need to be at, because I know I'm a lot more accurate coming from that shorter distance. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to go that way. Right back yonder. Basically a straight shot. Right through there. Nice and easy walk. Like I was saying earlier, my pace count is 68 for a 100-meter stretch. 10 of those is a kilometer. Here's a good way to keep track. Sticks. Alright, every time I hit 68, break one off, put it in my pocket. By the time I have 10 of those in my pocket, I've gone 1 kilometer. Now in this terrain, I'm walking around stuff like this garbage. All them thorns. I'm going to make a right angle, go back east. If you're going laterally compared to your intended target, you stop counting. Then when you go towards your target again, you start counting again. So actually what I'm doing is going around this big old briar patch using right angles. A lot of people get ranger beads, which are fine, but when you're done counting to 10, you Ain't gotta carry it no more. Here's a straight shot back to the Jeep. So this is an easy trail to follow. Had I been going through all that stuff, I'd be a lot worse off. Okay, here's where I turn around. This whole field's just filled with them. So now I'm seeing familiar terrain again, and that's because my eastern and my western legs were not the same. My northbound leg wasn't long enough, so that automatically meant that my eastbound leg was taking a different path. So when I went westbound, I was going more northerly, and more poison ivy, more northerly than my eastbound leg. So now that I'm cutting south again, I'm coming across the same territory I saw before. That means I'm back on my same track. Is any of this making sense? But keeping my target in sight is a sure and better way of staying on my proper path. That's my southerly direction there. Getting back into the grassy areas where I was, I can see the Jeep now, and I'm not that far off, considering I was boxing around all those briar patches and thorny bushes back there. So I can see the top of the Jeep. Over there. So I'm actually pointing about 150 feet to the west of where the Jeep is at. So I wasn't that far off. Makes me happy. I get to go home and eat pizza now. Get out there, guys. Have fun. It is 2:31, and I'm back at the Jeep. Yeah, grass seed, anyone?